Well, I'm on the farm today and just thought I'd do a little more look-see and tinkering with this sprayer some. And I've got one of the booms folded out here. And I've been kind of unwinding some of these hoses. There was a nozzle on here and a hose. It looks like a big black snake that came off this side of the manifold here, and then these old hydraulic hoses to that hydraulic pump, to that hydraulic motor. I pulled them off. Obviously, the plastic on this hose is deteriorated, or whatever that coating is. But oddly enough, when I push on these tips, they're not stuck, which kind of surprised me. Not that I would use them, but I might. If you got a comment on that, I'd like to hear it. Maybe the tips are good, and maybe I just need to replace the hose. Maybe I should run the hoses, but I don't know. That looks that don't look too good right there. They're definitely stiff. I got a jack, an old jack. I'm going to look at putting on here. I'm not sure it'll work, but and then just kind of looking at some of these hoses. I don't know that I need to replace. I'm just trying to, let me put it to you this way. I'm trying to ascertain what I need to replace. And it's not everything on here by any stretch. We'll run, worst case, we'll just run water through it and kind of see what we got here. And these booms, this is quite the rig compared to the 50-gallon, 60, maybe 100-gallon sprayer you see around here, around these parts. This step right here, it comes up. It looks like it's going to hit the tank. And I pulled on it here just a little bit ago. I hope this works. If it don't, I'll cut it out of the video because. So if I let that thing down. So right there's a nice step. You know, you can climb up on the back of this video. Oh yeah. You can climb up on the back of this sprayer, and then there's a platform. You know, you can walk across to get a look-see at the inside of the tank. So that's kind of nice. And then they've got these holders here that look like little yokes that you know, hold the boom, and I guess you could run a pin through there to lock them in. And then there's a chain. I'm not sure that's original equipment to keep it from flexing forward. And if you can see, let me see if I can get around here. You can see there's kind of a spring-loaded that looks like it goes up into, should go up into here to lock it down. But anyway, I got to get into all that. But it's supposed to open into the V onto the V. And then obviously it'll spring back if you hit something. Again, it's got I believe it's a centrifugal pump, which is pretty high output pump that you would need for the booms this long. I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna cut them down. Our present sprayer is a 20-foot boom, which works real nice, this one is about 40 foot. Let me see if I can get this thing. Let me see if I can get this thing loose. And of course I can't because I don't know why. Hold on a second. All right, I got it broke loose. So, whew, one hand and a camera. And this guy springs out like that. So the booms are in the front on this sprayer, they don't fold out to the back like most sprayers I see. So when I stand back and look at this thing, I mean, for this farm, it's really wide, but one thing about it is if you could make that work, it would sure save a lot of time out on the field. Now this boom is lower than that one, and these booms are so bent up, or they've presumably been in the ground. Who knows what's. I think sometimes when I look at this sprayer, it may have lived a hard life. Like this boom right here has been repaired and bent. Who knows what ran into it or what it ran into. But this one's the same way. I don't know what was going on here, but you can adjust the height of the boom by turning this nut right in here. Now how much more of this thread is left, to bring it up, I don't know, and I'm not sure that would work. I don't know how that would work. Again, I'm just new to this sprayer and just trying to get to know it. But like I said, these booms are on the front of the sprayer. They're not on the back like most sprayers that you see, and I guess there's a reason for that. Maybe you're not trampling as much grass, in our case grass, with the wheels before the spray actually gets on the plant. The one thing for sure, the visibility of whether these booms are working or spraying, you should be able to see very, very well from the tractor seat. Now I pulled a couple of these nozzles off to have a look-see at them. Pulled one off of this end, and I looked at them last week, and I'm looking for what I'm looking for. There's two parts to these nozzles. One of them is like a check valve, and the other one is the nozzle. They're stainless steel, but as evidence that boom has been in the ground, that on the nozzle that I took from the end, which is not this one or that check valve, it was like wore down. It was wore down like somebody drug sandpaper across it. So I don't know what was going on with that. But normally what we see on a sprayer here is a screen and a nozzle. So this is kind of a new wrinkle for us. But I pulled this one off out of the middle of the boom where it hadn't been in the ground, where I could see it a little better. Spraying systems is where this thing came from, and I can hardly read the writing on it. I'll probably get one of my boys with some good eyes to tell me what that is. But we'll be replacing these tips with the appropriate tips for the gallons per acre that we're going to run with this sprayer. And I'll just say that this whole effort with this sprayer might be a big bust. So I'm hoping to spray with it this year. It might be that you know, that's just not a possibility, and we need to go with the original plan, and where I just bought it for the frame and replace everything. But I still think the tank is in pretty good shape, and I'm a little concerned about the fittings going into the tank. I'm not sure what kind of shape they're in. The last thing we want is a plastic fitting to break off, and we dump a lot of chemical down on the ground. So that's certainly something I'm watching out for. The height of these booms, I can adjust them. It's interesting on this sprayer that you can adjust the width of the wheels. So these wheels are independent. This wheel assembly is independent of the frame. You see these U-bolts over here? I can loosen those things and pull it out, which I might do to give it a little more stability on these hills. There's two things with this boom. I can raise it up. There's some U-bolts here. I can raise these booms. This one looks like it's actually broke, or maybe it's a hook. That's what it is. And they're on opposite sides. But I can loosen those and raise this boom up. I guess I could go up, since they're like hooks, I could probably raise it on up, you know, and with the bottom being latched here up to here. I prefer the booms not to be too high off the ground, but I'd like them to be high enough that when they get out here to the end, they're not going into the ground. The other thing, which I haven't checked yet, is I got a tape measure here. Let me pull this thing out. So from the ground, right now I'm at right about 12 inches off the ground, and this thing would be on the back of the Massey 1105, and let's just see what the drawbar is on that. I believe it's a little more than 12 inches off the ground. Whoops. That's about 16 inches. So I'd gain about 4 inches in height with that drawbar versus the way it's sitting out there right now. So that's one thing that would be certainly helpful. This tank, the fittings on it are actually some kind of metal. So if I wanted to screw something in there, there's a plug right there that I can pull out. And from what I can tell on these fiberglass tanks, I think that's typical construction. So if I come down here and crawl under this tank here, those fittings right there on the bottom of that tank, it's hard to tell. I can't tell. It feels like plastic. So like I said, this whole thing might be a bust, but I'm going to try to make a go of it. So let's see what else. $500 gallon sprayer. We could go a long ways with that. And 40-foot booms. It's either 38 or 40 foot. It's right in that neighborhood. And I gotta get a lid for it. Right now I've got it where I didn't really do anything, but there's a drain on the bottom of the tank as it leans this way, so any water that goes in is leaking out the bottom right there on that hose. But 500-gallon sprayer, I got to get a lid for it. I'm thinking about just making one, actually out of wood. And if I do that, I'll get into the details on what I'm thinking. But I'm gonna try to make it work like it is. Again, if it looks like it's gonna be a little I don't know the right word, but if it looks like it's going to be risky for fittings to break off and things like that, obviously we'll go deeper on this thing, and I may take the tank off anyway. So yeah, 500-gallon sprayer. It'll be on the big Massey over here, and these booms, I know you know, some of these sprayers you see now, they just have like telescoping booms all over the place, and they go out, I don't know how wide they go, but more than 40 feet. But up here in these mountain fields, this is really a big sprayer. And so just kind of tinkering with it here on the farm, and probably a rambly video, but sometimes that's the way it is. And kind of excited about getting this thing filled up in a trial run and see what we got. So hope you enjoyed the video. There'll be more on this sprayer, and again, I can't promise that we'll actually use it, but certainly it's my #1 priority. Got some other things cooking on the farm. Stay tuned, subscribe, hit the like button, comment, and we'll talk to you later.